So, welcome back to the WGL EU. Hopefully you got that nice little sandwich that Melly informed you that you should go and get. What sandwich would you go for if you had time?
BLT.
BLT. Oh, that's a good
Always
shout.
BLT.
BLT is always a good shout.
Nothing wrong with a BLT. Nothing.
Tuna crunch?
Tuna crunch.
Greggs?
No. Well, it's a good shout. Problem is, tuna is a little bit dangerous when you're in a social environment.
That is a very good point.
So
yeah.
tuna crunch can be an error. But BLT, I also like Ginster's deep fill sandwiches.
Yeah,
I like my chicken and bacon's good.
Yeah.
Egg and bacon's also good. Any of those kind of variations are good. So Ginster's, please send us a massive packet because we are horribly deprived of good sandwiches and good sarnies here in Germany.
It's very true. It's literally like salami and cheese or cheese and salami. What would you prefer?
Brötchen mit Fleisch und Käse. That's all you get.
Oh, wow. That German ladies. Hit him up at LaughterWOT on Twitter because that's how you get women, apparently. Anyway, if you want to let us know your favourite sandwich to make during a short little break, hashtag WGLEU. It's not that we're running short of ideas, it's because I'm a terrible host and I need filler ideas. But anyway, that aside, we do have 2 more games coming up for you tonight. We've seen a decisive win coming out from Virtus Pro already, a 5-1 scoreline over the Evil Panda squad. However, 2 more games, as said, hopefully they'll be slightly closer. However, on paper, it may not be. But then again, we saw DTQ on the next teams coming up, pulling off a bit of a surprise. But before we get too much into that, let's head over to Melly, just so she can tell you guys at home, not just about sandwiches, as much as us females are fantastic at sandwich-related goods.
I didn't say it.
How can people at home get involved?
Simply head over to twitter.com/WGL. I will just ignore Ollie for a while.
You always do.
It's best.
So twitter.com/WGLEU to tell us your choice in sandwiches. Just use the hashtag WGLEU. And of course, for all World of Tanks related opinions and whatsoever.
Sandwich-related opinions.
For example, as well. Just basically talk to us because we're sad and lonely and we need people that actually act like they care about us. So as said, head over to Twitter and tweet us by using the hashtag I just communicated. WGLU, just to say it once again. And if I refresh the vote, which is going on right now on facebook.com/WGLEU, it's 65% for Kazna crew. So
that's closer than I thought, actually. A lot of fans for DTQ out there, clearly.
Absolutely. So let's see how the vote goes throughout the first map. That's how long you have time to vote for your favorite team. And keep in mind, the earlier you vote, the earlier you predict your score lines, the more chances you have on winning one of the 5 bonus codes which are on the line. So I will close the vote after the break. After the first map. So right before we're heading into the second map, enough, as said, plenty of time, but to make sure to get to get better chances to actually winning, you should actually vote as early as possible. That's what I'm trying to say. And of course, follow us on both platforms to stay updated. We're providing a live tweet, live updates on Twitter over our Twitter profile to make sure that you know what's going on. Even if you can't follow the stream, if you have anything better to do, which I actually don't understand. But yes, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have like work to do. So follow us on Twitter to get those live updates, to still be updated about the happenings on our servers. And yes, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's check in with Twitter if people are tweeting. Yes, they are. So people, I will just read your tweets and maybe answer a couple of them and get involved.
There you go. Get involved. It's a pretty simple message and we like to hear from you. So do just that. Get involved with us. Not just sandwich related, not just tank related, anything you're feeling about how today's show is going. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think the Virtus Pro is looking strong this season? Do they look better after the break? Do they look weaker? Has EPS dropped off a little bit, or do you think they have more to give in those upcoming games? And also, let's start talking about the next game coming up just about now, which is DTQ up against Kazna crew. Already heard that you guys at home are favouring Kazna in this one, and we can kind of tell why. Kazna are overall the favourites. However, it seems that last result against Schoolbus may have adjusted some people's votes.
Yeah, I mean, DTQ won 5-0 against Schoolbus.
Impressive.
The most outrageous result we've seen all season. Of course, everyone knows who Schoolbus are. Season 4 champions, Rumble in the West champions. Fantastic team all round. DTQ were at the bottom of the table, and, well, they managed to overtake Evil Panda squad in that one. So, yeah, they're coming off an extremely surprising and extremely strong win altogether. Kazna Crew also coming off a win, 5-3 against TCM Gaming in their previous matchup. So they at least have a little bit of confidence. Wasn't the easiest match for them in the world, but they look like a stronger team and they perform better all round. One lineup change I have to mention is Dr. Toya. Everyone knows who he is Dr. Tua, I should say. I'm not sure. What's Dor?
Melly's face. She was like, what the hell did you just say?
How do you pronounce Dor? It's Tua?
Tua.
Yeah. Tua. Yeah. Dr.
Umlaut.
Yeah. Well, it's EU, but it's not EU like the same as an umlaut, right?
No, it's UE.
UE. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's UE. All right.
You just got told. See,
sorry,
Alex
I'm trying to learn your language.
Alex would, throw you under the bus like, no, you're saying it wrong.
No,
Melly is just harsh. She's like, you don't speak German. You don't get it. Done.
No, it's simply Dr. Tua.
Dr. Tua, yeah. Dr. Tua, you should know him. I mean, famous player.
Say his name as well.
Both throwing me under the bus now. Unbelievable. But yeah, he was playing for... Escapes from my
What's
mind.
his name again?
It was season 2 finals. That's season 2 final, or season 1 finals.
Don't mess up now.
Jean Shaping. I can say Jean Shaping at least.
Jean Shaping.
It's Jean Shaping. That's how all the that's how all the English people say it, but I got taught
Swedish,
by a Swedish person. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not so sorry.
I think we should check on that one.
I'll
ask Helena.
Yeah, should Helena.
Yeah.
Just appears out of the corner with the camera. I don't know. I don't think it works like
comes
that.
Comes out the woodwork. Yeah. Yeah, so whilst everyone insults me, if I could just get back to serious stuff here. So yeah, he's back in the lineup. That's pretty much because Kazna Cruz wants a good artillery player, and they kind of lack it right now with their current set of player rosters. So you can see the teams are starting to realize that, artillery is a pretty important instrumental piece, and they need someone who can fill that role, fill those boots well.
Who was playing it prior? Was it Paluda who picked it up occasionally?
Yeah, Paluda and... I think Hyber might have picked it once as well, but you can have a look at the lineup and you can see there's no one who can really fill the role well. And Dr. Tua was amazing in that artillery in previous teams as well. But yeah, it's still going to be a big call for him. He's not played in the league for a long time, and that can also cause some issues. Whereas, you keep those solid players, you keep them all in the tank roles they want, and you kind of have a better all-round team in some respects. But he's well known, and he's been in the Kazna clan for a while, so it kind of makes sense that they have some synergy there as a backbone. And DTQ, the only lineup change we've really been talking about is that Suzuka, Alcor, and Illusionist have all left and been replaced by one man and one man only. Also an artillery player,
very good one at that.
Lapatatus, and we'll have to see how those two kind of match up.
Yeah, I'm not sure going to try his full name. I'd say Doctor and hope for the best.
Yeah, I just butchered it. So.
I don't know where he's from, to be fair. I haven't actually looked into it too much.
Well, it's DTQ, so it should be Hungary.
Yeah, so maybe there's a Hungarian word that I just don't quite know. We maybe need some clarification. You guys at home, if you know how to pronounce his name correctly, Twitter, #WGLAU, because that man was a bit of a superstar in the last Playday. Yeah. Certainly instrumental in that win over School Bus. He really did step up, and maybe that's what they've just been lacking, that one player who can really push them that little bit further. The guy who can hit those shots consistently, who can fill that role with its artillery, where it's any other little tank that slots into place in that lineup perfectly. So that's something to keep your eyes on. If he does come out today and play well, he's certainly someone to just have a little look towards the later half of the season. Obviously, his statistics won't quite match up with the others because he's only jumped in onto, I think it was the last match day, really. So it's going to be hard for him to catch up with the others. However, so far, he's certainly given us a good performance. Looking to see how he does today. And do we actually know the maps we'll be playing today so far?
Sure. So we'll be seeing Prokhorovka first, where Kazna Cruz should be on the attack. Sometimes it changes around. Deep Tranquility will be picking up Ruhenberg, where they'll be defending. So you can see two very different maps. I mean, obviously, Ruhenberg is featured quite heavily these days, but teams are shying away from Prokhorovka quite a lot, and perhaps for a good reason, because it is extremely, extremely hard to play and quite an unpredictable and I think a quite an unpleasant map for some of these teams. It can be very, very stressful and not so logical, which I think is one of the reasons why we don't see it so much.
It is weird to go from one of the near-on staple diets of our last season to now being one of the rarities. We're seeing things like Cliff become its place in Ruhenberg, things that we thought may actually take a back seat in this season. But actually teams are really starting to like them and find the way to break them. However, this map, as you said, not quite maybe fitting into the meta just yet. Seen some teams looking strong in it. However, it's not going to have the statistics of, Virtus Pro in prior not losing a single game on it, etc. There's no team really really championing it that much so far. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the season to see a little more of it. So I'm thinking we need a solid win on one of these maps. We need to find our home map and eventually pick in that one, because it is quite the disadvantage for others. But it does take a lot of work to actually get very locked down. So have to look at these two teams to see what they can bring here. And with the new kind of players coming in, both really artillery players as well, this could be quite the showdown. This map does occasionally feature it. We saw it in the previous play day as well, or match week, should I say. That was picked up and utilized quite nicely. However, I want to see it a little bit further than that. It was kind of the downfall of one side and the winner in the other round. So it was a bit of a back and forth in how viable it really was. We'll have to wait and see what they can bring to this one. However, you guys on Twitter are getting involved quite drastically. There's a lot of sandwich talk. I like it. Melly, how's it looking on the sandwich front there? The hashtag WGLAU is kind of blowing up with the sandwiches right now. They are loving this talk. And we've got a few people giving their opinions on what they like. What are we seeing?
Well, I have a question up front.
Oh, goddamn.
Is it sandwich related?
What is it with the coughing?
The coughing?
Yeah, people...
Oh, the coughing.
Coughing.
So basically Alex last time on the show was dying of some vile disease. We weren't sure what it was. We had some theories.
I think it was a plague or something.
We had some theories.
Yeah.
However, it seems he's fixed himself, so that's fine.
Has
He's
he?
doing another show right to now. At least we hope he is. I don't know. He wasn't spluttering up and,
I did hear an ambulance earlier.
Oh,
be.
no.
That could end badly for him.
ESL's Turkey's attempt at League of Legends has plummeted very swiftly. Alex may have died on stream. We're not sure. But he was dying of some sort of plague. And
he gave it to us, which was pleasant.
Well,
of him.
Nice.
I didn't receive it. I think you were getting a little close.
The thing is, I'm like a barrier. They all just they come over here, they fly kind of here,
and
they
then just
just latch
straight
onto
to
me,
and then they just
and
stick
they
with
don't
you,
go to
of
Lawrence.
course.
That's the problem.
It's very kind of you to do that.
That's how it works.
And I
You're a
feel
gentleman.
your boyfriend has kind of made you a little bit stronger for those kind
He
of
does
fire
get
and
ill a
infections.
lot, to be fair. He does get...
You-
he's a
you-
sickly child.
You've got like some sort of barrier around you because you have to deal with
I
it
need
so
to put him
much.
in a bubble for half of the year. Do you remember?
Winter months. Just go
leave
in
him
there.
alone. Just leave him in his own little room because... But no, as we know, casters, when we get ill, you do generally hear it a lot more, and Alex was dying. Even though he had his microphone muted over there, the stream could quite clearly hear it. So don't worry, Melly. It's not because of anything you've done. It is just Alex affecting the show even now.
So hopefully this got disinfected.
That's a question.
I think we wiped it with something. I don't know. Maybe.
One of his tissues.
Yeah, just he only sneezed in it like 3 times. It's fine. Just...
Ew.
It was that headset as well. That's the worst part.
Ooh. These headsets have seen some
That's
great.
really... it's getting better and better.
Welcome back, Melly.
So I won't be here next week, as it seems. No, I'll be sticking
You'll fight
around.
through.
Yes, I'm a tough cookie.
That's what we like to hear.
So bacon.
Bacon. What's bacon?
Bacon is generally the consensus
Bacon,
for the
bacon,
sandwiches.
bacon. Baked
Good
beans and bacon. And cheese.
Baked
Baked
beans and
cheese
bacon.
and baked beans and bacon. Many
Wait,
bacon.
wait.
You're talking about breakfast right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Sandwich.
But baked beans are quite runny, right? They have sauce on them.
yeah.
And then with bacon, does the bacon go soggy?
Cool, that's a big
But
question.
if
That
you
is a
if you like
disastrous
to
question.
put if you put the baked cheese on the baked beans and then put the bacon on top, so
That was
maybe-
way too many bacon and bacon in there.
Maybe that.
Well, I got it right
don't
though.
know. Yeah,
baked
yeah.
beans, baked cheese.
Baked beans, yeah.
Sorry
Bacon.
for my
That's
English
what
not
you-
being perfect.
That's what you get for having a go at me, Dr. Tur, umlaut,
Tja.
Tur, whatever, Trevor.
Well done, Ollie.
So well
done.
the
Oh,
bacon
God damn it.
stays crunchy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I
I-
still don't agree with baked beans and bacon.
I'm
on
not sure.
sandwiches.
We'll have to see it. If you do make one of those sandwiches, hashtag WGLU with a picture. We want to see it.
And if it
obviously,
goes
in action.
disastrous C1, we want to see the effect of it as well.
Exactly. If it melts through on the bread and it's all soggy,
Yeah.
oh, that could be a disaster. That'd
Could
ruin
be
a very good
that could
sandwich.
tragic. It could ruin the show if we saw
See,
that picture.
I like a nice fried egg in like a bacon sarnie, and then you get like the yolk when it breaks. It's a nice
sunny
amount there.
side up.
Exactly, it's a nice amount. Then you don't want like too much of a runny sandwich, otherwise
Yeah.
the bread goes soggy.
Well, if it's going to run, you want it to run when you take that first bite.
that bite, then
and
you
it
can
goes,
handle
then
it.
it can go on the plate. You've
Exactly.
already like you've kind of
done
set
the job.
yourself up for this, you know.
Exactly.
You've
You know what you're in for.
anticipated with the plate.
I like that we
and-
were doing analysis of sandwiches. It's great. Melly, what's your favourite sandwich then?
This
I
is going to
just
be
had
bad.
a burrito. I can't think of sandwiches.
I've had burrito. Burritos are kind of sandwichy, I
It's
guess.
a Mexican
It's a
sandwich.
Mexican version of sandwiches.
Yeah.
We all do love burritos here in the office, though. It is quite.
I mean, we got the
I like
product
roast
manager
beef and
upstairs.
cream cheese on a sandwich.
roast beef and cream cheese.
Strange combination.
That's a weird combo. I like
it's
horseradish
tasty.
and like beef, and it's quite English though. Horseradish, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really.
you get because it's got those onions. I think it's quite nice horseradish.
I like it. It's a little bit spicy, but
Yeah,
not.
it wakes you
It
up.
gives you a little bit of something there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, we can get back to tanks eventually. How are the people out there voting so far? Is there any
wow.
thoughts on this? I don't know if we even got any
Totally.
voting because it is kind of early
Wait,
here. We are
wait,
just
let me-
discussing.
Let me just refresh. Of course, there is. People are busy voting, and the vote climbed up to 84% for
Oof.
Kazna crew. So,
Ouch.
people, the vote is still open. So head over to facebook.com/WGLEU. There you'll see the first post regarding the poll, and of course there is a little button that says Team Vote. Simply press it. You get press it. Simply press it, and you get forwarded to the poll before Ollie starts correcting my English.
Never.
Never.
You never do something like that.
And simply predict the scoreline. Simply predict the scoreline in the text field below. Send off your vote and hope that you will be one of the 5 lucky winners. And well, maybe win a bonus code containing 500 gold. So of course you can participate via Twitter as well. Twitter.com/WGLEU. Follow us and use the hashtag WGLEU to get participated, as a lot of people already do. And people, I really like your tweets and thank you for getting involved that much, and keep on doing so.
Indeed, you keep us here pretty much sane. I think that's the only way to put it. We do get distracted into sandwiches, but however, we are just waiting on the teams just to clarify. I know you guys in Twitch are like, why are they talking so much? It's like, well, as much as we like seeing
It's kind of
ourselves
our
on
jobs as
camera,
well, but-
don't get
Sorry,
smart now.
I shouldn't. Yeah.
You
It's
watch yourself.
It's been my error in
Exactly,
the past.
trying to be intelligent. Stop it.
Yeah.
However, we are just waiting on the teams. Obviously, we're quite ahead of schedule due to the 5-1 result versus Pro. We should start expecting them to stomp people now. We should make them like an allocation
Yeah.
of time.
Half an hour rounds for Virtus Pro.
It's kind of harsh on the other teams. Like, oh, I guess we're done for. Fair enough. However, we are just waiting on this one to get underway. The teams look like they get themselves actually sorted out here, so it shouldn't be too long.
Yeah.
Do we have any inklings of lineups? Does it look anything like it, or is it too early to tell?
Well, we're waiting for Hyber team captain of Kazna crew to join us, and Doctor. I'm not even going to say it. Doctor. To also join us. Doctor's just came into this battle room, so we should be underway very quickly. But I don't know.
English is an issue for
I
you.
can't even see what kind of lineups. We're seeing T29s, we're seeing 5100s, we're seeing KV5, so I'm almost 100%
waiting.
sure that we're not going to be seeing those tanks on Prokhorovka. But because Dr. Thieu is here, probably an artillery will be used. And it's happened again. What's wrong with you guys?
I don't know.
I can't. Can I just speak without people just like cracking up around
Well, it's
me?
almost like it's our job, right? To be able to speak something. I don't know. We broke a Melly. Melly, report in. Are you okay, Melly?
I'm absolutely fine. I
All
liked
right.
how he stopped before saying to
Yeah, because I'm
Mary
going to get
consider
abused.
I bet he just said it once in his mind to
Yeah.
make sure that he says it right, and then it was pretty decent.
Thanks.
Well done. We're
Just
proud
took me
of
a
you.
little bit too much time. I need to
We're
work
really
on
proud
that
of
one.
Ollie right now, guys. Send your, loving, supportive messages to dear Laughter WOT. He's not used to the abuse anymore because Alex was kind and he was nervous, like a deer in the headlights. He was like, "I will never insult anyone here," and then he kind of did. What was it? The
We-
historical
Outlets.
outlet.
He didn't really insult me on that one. It's
He just brought it up.
yeah, he just brought it up a lot, which was
Yeah.
also kind of putting me in the trouble.
Don't know what you mean.
No,
The
putting in trouble is
historical
also a
outlets.
good phrase.
Good Englando. I can speak
It makes
it.
sense.
Ooh, it's one of those days, guys. It's already.
We are
desi-
still waiting
like-
for these two, but Hyber's the only one waiting for right now.
Stop lying, Ollie. We like hearing ourselves talk.
Yeah, we love that, and we love coughing as well. It's also something we like.
It's a feature, I feel.
Strepsils should be a mainstay.
Sponsoring us?
Mainstay on our show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Benelin or something.
Sponsored by Benelin. That would be great.
It's so cool. Wow, thanks.
Melly's dead.
Melly's broken, I'm coughing, and Ollie's sitting there getting English wrong. It's very...
I didn't get it wrong, but
Bye, Melly. It's all right.
it's
Don't
one of
worry
the
about
features
it.
as well of just putting people on camera at great times. It's good.
It's a nice producer. Dear Matt.
I still
Thank
want to.
you.
We have to have one of these shots where it's the camera turns a little bit too quickly, and some stage manager is diving out of the shot as quickly as possible.
Oh, I
and
love to see
failing
Honka like
parlously.
trying to slide out of shot.
Yeah.
It'd be beautiful.
Or me just walking through the cameras at the season
Have you
four
done
finals.
that? Yeah, you did. just plodding along.
And everyone was like,
Hello.
"Sup, guys."
I like that you're like, I should be allowed to. They didn't tell me not to.
There's no one there. How am I supposed to know?
Oh, bless your heart. Fantastic. Anyway, we are just waiting still on the teams. Once they are locked in and ready to go, and once they get rid of maybe the KB5s and the TOGs, we might start taking them a little more seriously. But then again, TOGs got us a lot of views on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like I was looking through the VODs, as Alex was constantly plugging the YouTube, I thought, I might as well check it out just to, see how it's going. And there was only like 30k viewers on it. I'm just like, I don't even remember that game much. And I looked at Himmelsdorf, I was like, I remember that game now.
Yep.
Just the TOG lineup rolling out together. It was beautiful.
It was the greatest match we've ever seen, yeah.
Yeah.
We also, I mean, YouTube's pretty popular these days, and
Yeah,
everyone
true.
seems to be loving it.
If you do want to see that as well, WGL EU on YouTube.
It's just WGLE for everything, right? On
Yep.
Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. So just put WGLU in front of anything, and you'll probably find us in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, that was a good matchup. We also had, School Bus against Wusa, where people just wanted to see Wusa beat School Bus, I think it was. So that's also another Twitch VOD you should check, YouTube VOD you should check out as well. We got all the matches archived there. We're in match day 7.
Yeah.
You got 7 match days to catch up if you've missed any.
Yeah, so there's a lot of content to be consumed. Go and check it out, not just sandwiches. There we go. So you guys in chat, certainly supporting Kazna. People still talking about sarnies. I like that. Stop talking about food. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I will order you a pizza. Chipotle. Everyone likes Chipotle. Always good. I wish we had some in Germany.
You can get it on your burrito.
Yeah, but...
What?
Oh,
The look.
Ollie.
I don't know if it's a good idea.
It's like a brand. To get like a Chipotle thing is like it's an actual like restaurant.
Oh, yeah, it's a restaurant. But you can get Chipotle mayo, can't you?
Yeah. They've got their own like sauces and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
right. I
It's
didn't
pretty
know
good.
it was a
It's pretty
brand.
good. Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
what
nice.
I've learned.
It's delicious. People are like, is this the Food Network? I wish it was. We'd be even fatter than we are now.
I
at
would
least
like to be
myself.
Alan Rickman.
I want to be Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
What is it?
Is that Alan Rickman?
I swear that's Snape.
Yeah, I could be Snape. Who's... No, it's not Alan Rickman. What's his name?
Ollie wants to be in Die Hard.
I don't know what his name is. The guy who's on the Food Network.
I wish Alan Rickman was on the Food Network.
No, not Jamie Oliver.
The one that curses a lot?
No, the big guy who does Man vs. Food.
Oh God, what's his name? Oh,
Is that
I
the
like
one that-
Man vs. Food. That's always
No.
good. I don't know the name, but it's certainly not Alan Rickman.
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, Professor Snape just rolls in.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? My name's Alan Rickman. I like burgers. That's what it would be.
Did you
I
search
Great
watched the
impression.
hell
Adam
out of that.
Richmond?
What?
Adam Richmond.
Who's that?
That's
It's
the
probably
guy
the
you're
guy
talking
you were
about.
trying
Yeah, it was pretty close, guys. Adam Rickman, Alan Richmond. Like, come on, give me a break.
Oh God.
Give me a sandwich as well. Jesus.
What was Alan Rickman's name in Die Hard? Guys in chat, if you guess this as well, Hans Gruber. That's what I thought Germans collectively liked before I ever left England.
See, that's the problem. The whole world thinks that Germans are like that. Turns out they're not.
No,
but
they're alright actually,
they're
Germans.
alright.
But
They're
as
pretty
an
cool.
external point of view, when you're
Yeah.
like, all you do is watch like Die Hard as a
Yeah.
kid, and you occasionally see like a German character called Hans Gruber,
Yeah.
you think that that's gonna be the one type of
Yeah,
person
yeah,
you see
exactly.
with a mullet trying to blow up like the freaking building. But yeah, it's always good to throw back to a bit of Die Hard. It was almost Christmas, so it's all you get to watch really. How are the teams doing? Are they actually
Not
getting
well,
on with
not
it?
well, not well.
Oh, good.
Um,
That's great.
Yeah, we might be here for a while because the
Oh,
room
joy!
has just crashed. So
No, wunderbar.
crashed and burnt.
Ah,
A
wonderful.
bit like that playing on Die Hard actually. But
Oh yeah, which one was that? Die
problem was
Hard?
they switched the radar. So actually they put the plane's radar 1,000 feet below
Oh
the
yes,
runway.
and they didn't know.
They didn't know it.
Oh,
That fog.
God damn.
Oh.
I love Die
just
Hard.
couldn't
growing
do
up.
enough.
It was Die Hard 2.
Baldy couldn't do
it was,
enough.
It was Die Hard 2. Which one was the taxi one? Was that Die Hard 3? I don't remember.
No, which
Die Hard with a Vengeance, was it?
No, the one with the planes and stuff. Die Hard 4.0 was the one with.
It was
like-
Die Hard with Samuel L.
the Vengeance.
Jackson.
Oh,
Jackson.
that was a good one.
That was really good.
That was a good one.
Samuel L. Jackson is awesome. Though,
He
as an
is
actor.
really
He's
good.
Absolutely amazing.
He's really good.
I think he's like one of the highest earners out of everyone. Like he's been in so many
I'm not
things.
surprised.
No, he's.
Isn't he? Yeah,
I don't know. He must be.
he must be
by
one
now.
of the biggest ones.
Yeah, yeah. Tanks will be eventually discussed. But,
We're getting back in game. I'm sorry for the delay. It's why we are just going a little bit off topic in Sandwich and Die Hard with a Vengeance talk. But yeah, we should be all right on this one. This is what happens when Virtus Pro wins 5-1.
Pretty much, teams just don't know what's going on. It's great. It's just like, what happened? Oh, I guess you have to play earlier, about an hour earlier. I have to wait and see.
Who's Samuel L. Jackson always mistaken for?
Lawrence Fishburne? No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. No, it's not Lawrence.
Or is it the other way around? I can't remember. I remember
something
one of them-
Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne.
Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Whatever.
Whatever.
No, but it's that's a good. That's funny.
Yeah, bless him.
Super Bowl commercial. Great clip.
Super Bowl always has like amazing adverts and even stuff like that. Like I think
I was watching the NFL actually last
Yeah?
night. It was
Everyone
in the
was going
pub.
on about it. Everyone was going
Yeah.
on about it.
I know. I walked in and I was like, "Why is this?
What is this?
What is this twaddle doing on TV?"
You like rugby though, don't you? So you're probably not exactly a big fan of.
No, it's just a
American
lesser
hand
version.
egg.
What they've butchered our sport horribly.
Bullshit ass sport.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Thank God all the Americans are still asleep somewhere. It's fine. I think
Yeah.
they might be just waking up. That might be a
And
problem.
Jason's in a show. So
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
good.
Jason. Does it look like Jason knows sport?
He can play basketball, but it's only because he's
tall.
tall. I don't
That's
think
the
there's
worst thing ever. It's like putting the
Yeah.
fat kid in goal in school. It's not like they're good at it. It's just
in a
they take up
hockey
more
goal,
space.
he's just like yay big.
Just sit
yeah.
and just close your eyes and hope for the best.
May I remind you that our producer is American?
Who?
Yeah, he can't do anything.
He's far away. Be careful. Like I guess we should always be nice to the producer because he'll tell you to be quiet again, and I'll just shut up for like 10 seconds randomly because I just trusted him.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have done
Honestly,
that. Was the problem.
no, exactly. I had faith in Matt, and he let me down. Welcome to WGL. But we also on the teams. It looks like they started to actually pick up tanks that may resemble an actual lineup here, so we could actually
Yeah.
start maybe looking at their options of what they could run with.
Yeah, we have both teams then again. Looks like everyone's pretty much ready. Hyber's in the battle. Deep Tranquility look locked in with all their players playing today. 505, Heine, Mr. Chef, Maltz. Nicholas Black, serious threat. Dr. Lapos, Tetu. Horribly butchered, I imagine. Hyber, Rust the German Brat. Elian, Palauda, Cobrion, and LD Nexus playing for Kazna crew. So Dr. Toya is also in reserve.
Yep.
So we have to see exactly if he gets picked in for Prokhorovka. I mean, we have seen artillery on Prokhorovka a couple of times. We saw it from TCM Gaming, played by Still Mojo. Didn't work out too well for them, at least on the attacking side. Let's see if one of these two have kind of worked it out. But next map after this one would be Ruenberg. So I guess this is the only map we would really see artillery on.
Yeah, I think that's the one that we have we seen anyone try it?
Well, we've seen it in previous seasons when we had 742. We saw it a lot.
Yeah, but it was way more static in that. You could kind of,
Yeah.
see a reason why. But this game mode is a lot more fluid, as we've seen. A lot of rotations, a lot of adaptation comes in, and you can't quite predict it as well. Do you think we'll ever see it coming in on Ruenberg? Like, to a consistent level? I don't think we will.
No, I wouldn't say never, but we probably won't see it. I don't think. But I've said that about Himmelsdorf or.
True, and then our
on
place was like,
Ensk,
"Hey, I
and it's
heard what
like,
you said."
Yeah, exactly, and they're like, "Sup, bros? Cast is curse."
Exactly.
And yeah, they took it. So Dr. Toya has been picked up. He's in the M44, so it does look like the two teams are getting their lineups locked in. And of course, if you didn't hear it before, Dr. Toya is the new player for Kazna crew, old school player as well, brilliant artillery guy, one of the guys you can rely on. So let's see how he performs. Obviously, he's been out the league for a long time, and will need to kind of get himself back into the swing of things for sure.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and see. Good work to chat on Hans Gruber. They all know it. And way
Did
quicker
they?
than I did. Yeah, they were
Which
like,
is like
bam.
they got Wikipedia open and the next
True,
gap like,
true.
or they got some sort of voice recognition, just like Hans Gruber.
Just Siri.
yeah, exactly.
Hold up to the speakers. But no, the tank lines are looking good.
Yeah.
If you were going to vote on one, would you put faith in DTQ to do it again, or do you think that was a one-off?
I don't want to say DTQ will be able to win this because I think School Bus, they look like a team that hadn't practiced and hadn't really done much in the Christmas break. But Kazna crew have also looked slightly shaky, but they look like they're a team that's getting better. I think it's going to be if Dr. Tua can kind of integrate with his team well, doesn't cause any problems in there. And if DTQ has that confidence still with them from their last win against School Bus, then I think it's going to be a very close game. But, this is the DTQ that won that relegation match against Lucky Cracky. This is the DTQ that we've seen playing very well in Silver Series. So they have a good chance.
Yeah, I'm looking at both doctors now to turn up pretty much. It's pretty much Doctor v Doctor, both artillery players to a degree. I'm hoping they both pick it up, or at least one does, and we might see it later down the line. But, I'd say only in this map, as you said, not in Ruinberg. So I'm looking forward to seeing if it actually does get picked up here by both of them, or just one and see how they deal with it. Obviously, having an artillery player on board gives you a greater understanding of it and gives you a little bit more of a insight, let's say, as to where it's going to be playing, how they'll play off the back of it. And it's always nice to have someone there you can depend on, maybe just to discuss the tactics through and maybe ask a couple of questions here and there while in game if you just want that reconfirmation that, yes, they'll be playing there. Yes, this is the best way to get at them. Yes, this is how we need to make sure we're not getting caught out. So hopefully that comes into effect. We're going to have to wait and see. Guys, get those final votes through to us on Facebook and get involved on Twitter. Hashtag WGLEU. No more talk of Die Hard. It is time to get towards the game. It looks as though the lineups are locked in and the teams are ready. It will be Kazna crew up against DTQ here. And there's a lot on the line for these two teams. DTQ could start really working their way up the scoreboard, but Kazna is such a tough opponent. They have had their ups and downs, but they seem to be hitting that nice smooth phase after that rather surprising loss that they suffered just a couple of play days ago for Kazna. So let's see what they do here, as I think with the last 5 seconds they'll just be making sure all is good. And your final prediction on this one?
I'm predicting Kazna to walk away with the win on Prokhorovka. I think that could all change on Ruinberg. But guys, remember, this is not a map we've seen for a long time played by either of these two. They kind of banned all the maps which they've seen the other team play well on, and they're left with Prokhorovka, and we have to see which one is best on this lineup here. So big questions to be asked from both Kazna crew and Deep Tranquility. Kazna starting on the attack and Deep Tranquility on the defense.
So are we seeing that artillery in play for either of these sides? Yes. So the Doctor for Kazna will at least have it. However, on the other side, it seems like they may not be quite dabbling that one just yet.
Yeah, Doctor's obviously heading over towards the left side, as you would expect. Good spawn from him as well, and it's a pretty nifty little quick artillery piece. And let's see what you can do. And so far, I think Deep Tranquility aren't playing particularly to the counter of that artillery. You can see those tanks up into A1, A2 area. We've seen Bulldogs being one-shot by artillery before, and I'm pretty sure Doctor will now be just raining shells down into those bushes wherever he can, and see if he can get some initial damage. And that's what this artillery piece is for: initial damage, initial presence, initial pressure. And then when Kazna crew has that, they can go forwards, they can exploit it.
Well, Doctor 2 there, lining up some of the shells. I have now found out, due to Twitch chat being my only friends, the producer messed with me. Thank you very much, Matt. Nicely done.
You have friends?
Twitch chat is my only friend. As one collective.
It's quite
volatile.
Volatile.
Yes. It's
intelligent though, very intelligent.
Oh, are you kissing their ass now to hope for the best? Nicely done. However, so far no damage done to either side. Fairly, not necessarily passive start, but it's a slower one. On the defensive side, DTQ just taking their time really up in the north. They don't have much to worry about. They've set their line of defense and they're just sticking to it really. Yeah,
but you got to question if that's really enough to be able to ward off Kazna crew. You can see the Bulldogs are on the one line, and basically the rest of the tanks are spread out a little bit, and if Kazna decides to capitalize on that, they will be able to exploit it well. The MX-3090 for DTQ is all the way over towards that right side. The T-32 will take a while to engage if Kazna just pushes straight forwards into this kind of defilade. And that would definitely split them in half, but Kazna has a good idea where these two M44s are, as they are getting spotted. They can't see anything right, but they are getting spotted from the left, and that's why you'll see lots of blind shots. The two best hold-down tanks, the three best hold-down tanks, I should say, the two Pershings and the T-32s are all there, making as many blind shots as possible, and maybe be able to hit a couple of shells, but none so far, and Kazna will have to start formulating some sort of attacking pressure. Now, in my opinion, the best attack and the best attack route would be to send the MX-3090 Ruster onto the hill and just go for that northern cap. Of course, they're going to have to push him off the hill to take care of that MX-3090, but the problem with that is they'll have to relocate Dr. Tuer if they want to be able to get him into a safe position. And, that's the way these top teams will be playing artillery. Using him as fast as possible, using his speed to basically maneuver himself around with the rest of his team, not being left alone on his own, and making those shells where possible while also being safe.
Yeah, and Ruster's certainly a player to be doing it. Bit of a superstar for the Kazna side, alongside Elian. So you've got the up-and-coming superstar and the veteran to it now. But At the moment, not too much to be done here, but 3 minutes left. The attacking side will have to start mounting the attack. It does look like they are edging towards the eastern side here. Might actually breach across that 6 line and get towards the eastern cap. However, there is a 1390, I believe, up in around B9, so it could be a problem. However, for now, let's see how this one goes. Elian, Hyber, Ruster, all starting to make their way across. They catch Nicholas Black, and he's got to be careful here.
Yeah, actually, Hyber's going to be able to do good work because Nicholas Black is stationary, and he's not exactly playing a fast tank, the T-32. Look how much damage he can take from the Kazna side.
Yeah, Hyber here, peeking over, does get the shot. German Braid did get a couple of shells back, but already Nicholas Black going down is a big loss here.
Yeah, T-32 down, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is one of the slowest rounds we've seen since the beginning of the season. Kazna really taking their time, playing it methodical, and Deep Tranquility so far not responding. The one line is the next push with most of their tanks all pretty much heading that way, but the T-32s, the T-32 and the 2 Pershings are going to be pretty slow, so these M44 might be able to do some good damage. LD Nexus does get spotted, so Deep Tranquility has that foresight, have that ability now to take down him.
LD Nexus going out on a limb here on his own. Serious threat up ahead, and Mr. Chef as well. LD Nexus is in real trouble here. He's getting a couple of shots off, but surely going to go down for this. Already down to a 1-shot here. Luckily, taking the shell to the tracks rather than anywhere else and trying to scurry away as Vetso will try and cover him off, but LD Nexus making it out on absolutely no health.
He just also absorbs a load of damage. That's bad news for Deep Tranquility. Both M44s now fall 1 minute and 40 seconds, but the thing is that AMX 3090 505 can just go on the hill, and Kazna won't have enough time to take him down, so they know they have to go for the cap. That's their last chance.
Well, here we go. Cap has begun. Hyber is in there. Vetso, Ruster all around. And the faith that LD Nexus had going forward there to allow those Bulldogs to be picked up was absolutely huge. However, Vetso now moving in towards where the rest of the enemies are waiting. I wonder if they're going to expect them in this sort of position, and Mouths is there, and the new doctor to the scene. Vetso could be caught out here. He goes down. Massive damage coming in, but still a lot of work to be done here. 15 seconds on that cap. It's going to be a hard shot to hit, especially with Elian on Overwatch.
Yeah, Vetso shouldn't have died there. Well, he should have died, but he should have just gone for the ram so he could get the extra damage. He is always going to die in that situation. Now Hyuni in that AMX 3090, he's left to save the day, and he's got 3 seconds to do it.
Shot on the run. Can he land it? Takes the time, makes it. Just about saves the day, but for how long? The cap does get reset. LD Nexus does go down, but now it's push-off time. 2 left in this one. The cap has started, and while these tanks should run the hell away here, but they're still sticking out. Miles is still in this one. The 1390 could have made an escape, but so far this looks a little bit too close for comfort as Hyber doesn't get the angle he wanted. Spins the turret, gets the shot. Ruster slows him down, but Miles picks it up. 22 seconds to take these 2 tanks down. If Miles gets away, that Pershing will not be able to catch it, but now down to a 1-shot. He will fall, and Kazna pick up battle number 1.
Ooh. But by the skinniest of the teeth. I mean, it couldn't get any closer, about 10 seconds. I'm not sure if skinny of the teeth is a real word. I think it's skin of the teeth.
Yeah, it's all right.
But it was close enough.
Yeah, good attempt.
But yeah, I mean, you said it. The reason why Deep Tranquility lost that is because they put all their resources into stopping that cap, and they didn't have to. They only needed to send it, maybe Hyun in there and then send him away, or just send Maltz into that situation. But Kazna put the pressure on. They forced the move from Deep Tranquility, and honestly, I didn't see DTQ really winning that one at that stage. I mean, damage from them is pretty good. I mean, Doctor, performing once again, 1.6k, but Elian with that T-32 sniping with 2.1k damage. So fantastic work from him, and you can see the Pershings, the T-32s, all doing fantastic work on this map. Sitting in the top 3 damage dealers.
And what do we make of Nicholas Black going down so early there? He was pretty much the first pickup. He actually has the horrible habit of being caught out a good couple of times like this in the prior games for DTQ. Is this a recurring issue? Was he unlucky to be caught out there, or should he have seen that coming?
I think he should have seen it coming a little bit earlier, but he couldn't have done much into that situation. I mean, I think he's a good player. It's pretty clear to me that he's definitely a better heavy tank player than he is a light tank player. But I think, DTQ's main area was the fact that they just didn't run away in time. And Kazna, they just kind of had everything sorted. I'm not sure if that artillery really worked for them. Doctor did hit a couple of shells. He hit Hyuni. but he didn't penetrate that shell, only did 268 damage. Also, Vetso should have probably gone for the ram instead of trying to sneak his way around there, because he was always going to die in that situation. Should have just gone for the damage as quickly as possible, and maybe even track one of the players to stop the decap coming in. So, yeah, a couple of mistakes from Kazna, but I think they played pretty solidly.
And that's the thing with Kazna. They always have that, at least the very lowest rung of their ability will always be fairly solid.
Yeah.
And depending on their opponent, sometimes that will be exploited. Sometimes they'll get an opponent who will see that weakness, so they leave fairly vulnerable. Otherwise, they'll pick up the win generally. And, DTQ did okay so far. A couple of errors that did cost them it, however, in the end. That's the bigger problem, as you said. Sometimes where they should have run away, they stuck around. And just here and there, some problems coming through. So hopefully they can resolve those. But tank lineup-wise, was it solid enough? Does the RT need to be put away for now?
No, I think if Doctor had gotten a little bit more lucky and hadn't hit the gun of that AMX 1390, it could have been a totally different game. Also, if he'd not got so unlucky against that T32 Nicholas Black, it could have taken him down a little bit quicker. But, at the end of the day, he played okay, and I don't see, for instance, a T37 doing a better job in that place, apart from the fact that maybe they would have sent the T37 instead of LD Nexus in the 251 forwards to scout those M41s, which is, I guess, one of the other big problems with DTQ. I'm not exactly sure what those two M41s were doing. I mean, one kind of makes sense, but two is a little bit unnecessary to spot them out, and they were taken down very quickly when they were spotted. So lineup is locked in for Kazna crew, looking like they want to kind of pick up the same tanks here. Pershing, played by German Brait, and Kazna crew, Vetso in the 251 again as is LD Nexus, Dr. Ture in that M44, and I guess Elian's going to pick up the T32, whilst DTQ, Triple AMX 1390, Double T69, T32, and Doctor playing the AMX 13 F3 this time, that French Tier 6 artillery.
Well, let's see how it comes into play. So are we seeing both Doctors now running artillery?
Yeah.
Any preference on the artillery picked, or is it down to the player?
Well, I think the M44 is better, but we have to see. I mean, the M44, 10 seconds reload, 700 damage, big arc of fire, not particularly awkward to play, whereas the MX-13, it's got a limited angle on its arc, also pretty slow, but it's more accurate. It can hit more, shells more reliably, and is one of the better tier 6 artillery pieces.
Well, we'll see if that actually does come into effect here. RTV, RT, this is what we wanted to see. Excuse me, both new additions to these teams now going to be head-to-head in their own way. Both picking artillery, both be playing against each other. Let's see who comes out on top here. Kazna currently leading, though, 1-0 over DTQ. Nothing too surprising just yet. I want to see how this game goes, though. DTQ looking like they still need to warm up a bit. They didn't look quite as crisp in that game as we saw in the prior, so I want to see how much they can build into this, bearing in mind that stunning result of a school bus wasn't just school bus being off their game. It was enough of DTQ being able to realize that and really take the advantage from it. So let's see if they can kind of follow this one up now. We are going to be ready for battle number 2 any second now, and in we go. So once again, in the north, it will be DTQ, Deep Tranquility on the defense. In the south, in red, it's Kazna on the attack, looking to get another battle under their belt.
You know what's nice about Kazna crew right now is that they're disciplined. School bus against DTQ, you remember they took 2 charioteers, and I think they lost because they weren't taking DTQ seriously. But Kazna's playing logically, they're playing forwards, they're kind of making sure that they got every step counted for, and they're not just going into awkward situations or putting themselves at a disadvantage unnecessarily. So that's really good to see from Kazna crew, and honestly, if they keep this up, they'll be able to pick up the win here against the Hungarian team, Deep Tranquility. But similar start from them, Dr. Ture and the artillery going left, and the rest of them going into the middle. But you can see the adaptation from DTQ more towards the right side.
Yeah, and we've got Serious Threat actually joining Nicholas Black towards the center of this one now, around E6. That's both of them there, the T69 and the T32. Maybe thinking that Nicholas Black needs a little bit of support to have a bit of sustain there. He has the HP, maybe want a little bit more firepower with him. And let's see if that's going to pan out at all, see if it helps them out. And I quite like them changing up a little bit.
Yeah, this is great because they're basically putting their 2 hull-down tanks there, Nicholas Black and Serious Threat, and basically going to be trying to fend off Kazna crew's hull-down ability with those 2. They're expecting a push over the middle, but you can see Kazna are getting all their main firepower tanks here. They're guessing correctly whereabouts DTQ are because they haven't been spotted from the left, so they're thinking, okay, the 2 M44s are not there. But that's the thing, DTQ, they're doing it correctly. They saw that those M44s were error, they were useless in A1, and they're adapting, they're changing up, but those this T32 and that T69 are now going to be able to be proxy spotted. That's why they're reversing forwards. This will allow Kazna crew to get into a better position and take this hill dominance.
Yeah, and it's allowed Elian the first shot there. Won't be connecting it, but Mr. Chef and Doctor coming in now. Already seeing a little bit of an answer to our question earlier on, which Doctor will come out on top. A couple of blind shots coming back in towards the new Doctor to the team of DTQ, but none connecting just yet. And the T32 not looking so filled with HP right now.
Yeah, that's their first target. It's a slow target. It's an easy target to take down, and Elian might have to be careful in this one, not getting spotted out too much. Dr. Tour is in, a further away position, and the damage once again coming from Doctor, really performing well. I mean, he does more damage base with that AMX-13, 950 he can hit. 833 done with 2 shells, obviously 950 if he does penetrate it. And yeah, that's going to cause Kazna crew to get out of this situation and try from a different angle.
I love that play so far. Nice read into the game so far. Doctor does have another shell to make. Not going to find a connection just yet. As Dr. Toya just waiting the M44. Shell just about coming available. But so far, 3 shots, 2 hits. I think we're seeing who's really doing a little better for themselves at the moment. And I like the way that this Doctor isn't afraid to maybe adjust a little, maybe move position, stay fairly mobile, and try and adjust accordingly. Because at the moment, it looks like Kazna is going to try and make a play.
Yeah, Kazna has to go over towards the left side. That position by Dr. Lapetus was perfect to deal with those hull-down tanks from Kazna crew. But now when they come from the side, it's going to be a little bit more awkward. That tank is not going to be so strong. But also, this could be a mistake from them because they are kind of rushing into it. They have been spotted early on. And with that artillery, Kazna's going to have a lot harder time of just being able to get the cap down. Because if they get spotted, the artillery will just be able to nail them very, very hard. But, the problem with that AMX-13 is got about a 30-second reload. So you'll only have one chance and one chance only to hit the shell.
Let's see if he hits it. LD Nexus getting some trouble there. It does get
serious
for a
threat.
second. Nice work coming in. I'm not sure who was actually delivering that in the end. Possibly Mr. Chef. Probably not. At the moment, this seems like Kazna is struggling a little bit more here. It seems the changes have actually worked out.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely making Kazna crew adapt and try things on the fly, which is not always good. Serious threat, though, has received a lot of damage and also constantly being spotted out. Dr. Tour about 2 seconds off reload. Let's see if he can hit this one. Elian receives another shell, and this is going to be a crucial shot from Dr. Tour. He misses it, doesn't take down Nicholas Blackhold. Serious.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. The amount of tanks alive right now for DTQ is substantial. Hyber looking a little vulnerable. I'm surprised Serious Threat didn't go for a shot. Then LD Next has taken fire. Hyber down to nothing, starting off this cap. And I've got to say it, the HP is just being worked away slowly but surely. And I love that. Nicholas Black does take a lot back, though. And that might be Ruster now moving in for the kill. He's going to claim it. Nice work for Ruster. Gets the double coming through for him. Beautifully done with some support from others. But in the end of the day, finally, Kazna getting a bit of a jab back at DTQ, but Vetso now going for the push in towards the Doctor and Mr. Chef here. And well, Vetso, can he pull it off though? 3 tanks present, he's going to get fire back. Mr. Chef still stands. Just about goes down, and is it worth this pressure?
I think it's worth it. They know they can't go for the cap, and they are going forwards. Vetso does fall in a flurry of shells, and that's going to make it hard for Kazna crew to take down these 2. Doctors also still alive on reload, although getting so lucky receiving a shell but only hitting the gun. And Kazna are still firmly in this game, but as are DTQ. They still got 2 high HP AMX-1390s. High Uni is going to come off reload. And once again, Dr. Ture struggling with those shells.
Yeah, not landing quite as he'd want. And look at the damage already done by Doctor. Almost 2k hit. That's massive. 2 kills as well. This guy is a beast. At the moment, Ruster's going hunting, though. Malz needs to protect him if they want to keep this guy in the game, because the cap will become the final option eventually for Kazna. Although this sort of HP, they might need to find a better plan. At the moment, Ruster, can he get it done? Gonna peek up and over, gets the spot, and does get spotted himself, so the turrets will, however, turn hunt. Hayuni will be waiting as well. Here we go. Oh, Doctor almost had it as well, but this could be a disaster. Malz needs to play defense. He comes in supports, blocks it for 1. Ruster's down to a 1 shot. Oh, Doctor just about stays alive there, but not for long as German break comes in. Hunyi is now in trouble, taking 2 on the go, now down to a 1 shot, does fall, but look where the 1390 is on the run. 5:05. Reading the time well and getting the hell out of Dodge.
5:05 with 25 seconds left on the clock. I think he's going to be okay. doing it perfectly, getting up on top of that hill, getting the oversight and the tricky place for Kazna Crew to find him. Kazna have 3 tanks alive, but they don't have the time on their side. 10 seconds left for them to find him.
Let's find out if they get any bit of luck. The 251 is certainly hunting him down to the left side here. As you can see, making the approach, but 505, good bit of cover. Waiting it through, and your time is up. 505 with the smart play to time. And I think we found out which Doctor's certainly doing the goods. What a play. 2k damage pretty much hit there. Maybe 1.9, you know, on the cusp. But 2 kills, 2k damage, rounding up. That's a big performance here. Let's look at it again. That's massive. He did hit over 2k in the end. 2.3k. That is massive.
Yeah, 8 shells made, 6 out of 6 shells hit. Yeah, massive game from him. Also 1 splash damage shell. But, you know, as much damage as he did in that situation, Kazna played perfectly into the hands of him. I mean, you know, everyone who's played artillery before, when you're in that situation where you've got tanks which are fairly big, fairly slow, directly in front of you, and they're just going backwards and forwards, it's very easy shots to make, especially at like 250, 300 meters, which they were at. So he's having to hit those shells. He's making them work for him. And Kazna, you know, they already received about 1.5k damage before they made the execution. But still, Kazna Crew had that win, but they just didn't have the time to make it work.
Yeah, maybe forgetting the time limit has been adjusted from last season. Who knows? But they certainly did run out of time in the end. They had 3 tanks, I think, left alive at the end.
Yeah, they had 1 artillery,
1 RT and 2
combat tanks. Yeah.
So they should, in theory, have had it in the bag. But it was a nice read from 505, who'd stayed pretty much on full HP throughout that whole game.
Yeah.
He was already down in the south, even with about a minute left on the board. He knew that he'd have to run eventually. He knew that it may come down to it. So well read. DTQ back in the game then, 1-1 so far. What do we make of the performance from these guys? Doctor is looking phenomenal. Let's be serious here. This guy impressed us in the previous week. He's come in again and looked extraordinarily strong. Could this be, you know, a bit of a superstar coming through here that we've, you know, not really seen doing too much outside of the WGL EU, but now he's had his opportunity, is really stepping up.
Yeah, and it's not just about Doctor. It's about the team captain, Mr. Chef, making the right calls. You know, someone had to make him play the artillery.
Correct.
And I think that's what I like to see from DTQ, making the right calls for tank lineups, the choices, thinking about what Kazna Crew did in the last round and predicting what they're going to do in this round, and having the lineup to deal with them when they do. So looking like a strong DTQ, and one Kazna Crew has to take seriously. 1-1 scoreline, obviously that's going to cause a switcheroo. We'll see Kazna Crew on the defense and Deep Tranquility on the attack, and they have a good chance right now. Prokhorovka looking like a map which both teams seem to be good at. Both teams seems to be adapting a little bit, but you know, Kazna Crew picking that heavy, kind of slow lineup twice in a row obviously didn't work out for them, and I think they might be a little bit more dynamic with their tank lineups here into the next round.
We'll have to wait and see if they do switch up a little bit. They'll be switching sides as well, bearing in mind. So we'll have to see what they can bring now.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the Doctor for DTQ will actually stay on the RT still. It seemed to work quite nicely on defense, but attack, it could be a little bit more difficult. We'll have to wait and see. Actually, then again, in theory, the attack inside's more mobile and the defensive side's more static, so it could work if we wanted to see it come through. We'll have to wait and see what he picks up here. But I did like the adaptation. I like the way that, you know, for example, Nicholas Black did have the support of the T69.
Yep.
Every little piece, they just kind of adjusted. It was very close, though, so I don't think we can read in too much. But a 1-1 scoreline from Kazna to DTQ is a very big step up, considering, looking back at DTQ's results in the past, I'm just going to look at it really
It's
quickly.
5-0 pretty much, apart from against Wooster and TCM.
Utopia, 5-0 to Utopia. Wooster, 5-3. That's when we were quite surprised he got that close, because Wooster was still at the top of the league. 5-3 to TCM, 5-0 DRL, 5-0 Virtus Pro, and then they beat Schoolbus 5-0. So these guys, I don't know what to make of them just yet. They've got a 17% win ratio out of their 6 battles. It's not great. To the 83% obviously lost. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty disastrous overall, but they're showing some substantial improvement here. This is a DTQ, as you mentioned earlier, we saw in the relegations. These are the guys who had to fight so hard and now starting to reappear. And I don't know what's changed. Maybe adding a player, maybe switching things up. And the one thing, as you said, Mr. Chef, the leader here, has made these calls. I like the way he's actually willing to give up a couple of the tanks he actually played to the newer guy to step in and play them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't seem to bother him at all. That takes, you know, a fair bit of... kind kind of calmness and, not being too attached to wanting to be that superstar player, knowing the role and just kind of taking a step back and just playing it nicely. So credit to them. They seem to be really improving as that collective, and that's what I wanted to see. We do occasionally see halfway through the season or towards the later part of the season, these teams starting to get better, starting to build up, and I think DTQ's looking to be a good example of that.
Yeah, they're just getting stronger, and I think for them it's like, okay, so maybe we don't have the greatest chance of getting a top 6 spot this season, but at least we've fixed the mistakes we had, the areas with communication at the beginning, the tank lineup choices, the player skill ability, and they can say, okay, so we do actually have a chance here into season 6. We can fight through the relegations if they have to. And still, if they win, against Kazna Crew and they pick up a couple more wins, they could possibly see a top 6 spot as well. Remember, there are 11 match days this season. And, just the top 6 will be going to the offline finals. More information, of course, on eu.wgleague.net when it does come available. But lineups are starting to be locked in. We got double T69, T32 from Kazna Crew, two 251s, a Pershing and M44 alongside. Dr. Tue once again playing the M44. I guess, that M44 against the MX13 argument will be, okay, so the M44 you get quality, you get quantity because you get a quick reload, you can make a lot of shells, you don't really have to relocate that much. But the MX13 you have a longer reload but more accuracy, so you're going for those quality shots, and if you hit them you'll come out on top, as we just saw. But lineup also from DTQ, we've got T32, a T69, a T37, an AMX3090, a 251 and a 416. Still waiting for Doctor, but I guess he's going to be picking up some sort of artillery. But since Sirius in the T37, he might not.
Yeah, and a quick question. Do you think that, I think it was Miles was actually near on dedicated to just about keeping Doctor alive in that one, or at least kind of being with him in case there was a 3090 pushing up, which we saw in the end, I think.
Vetso went forwards, then Ruster went in.
Is it worthwhile putting one player there to just kind of support the artillery player?
You have to. I mean, they had 2 players there, but one went down.
It's true, actually.
And, I think when Vetso went in, he went down extremely quickly. He got obliterated. And then when Ruster came in, he had to gamble. It was a big gamble by Ruster. It worked out.
Yep.
But if Doctor had hit that shell into the side of Ruster, it would have been game over for him, and it would have been,
probably a cleaner
result for DTQ. But Doctor has picked up his tank. It's going to be Lorraine 15551. That's a tank I haven't said in a long time, but I'm really happy to see it back here. The tier 8 French artillery. So yeah, that tier 6 played by Serious Threat allows Doctor to play the tier 8 French.
Now, let's break it down into basics. What would be the difference then between the M44 and this new artillery? If we were, as you said, you're going for the quality shots with the other tank or artillery, what would you be looking at in this sort of beast?
Well, the Lorraine is just the best of the bunch, really. It's a premium artillery tank. Does great damage, good accuracy. Like 25 seconds reload, not too bad. It's better than the MX13. It's just the all-round package. It's pretty quick. It's got a bit of HP as well, so you can't get one shot unlike the MX13. And if it does hit those shells, you're really, really going to feel it. It's going to one-shot MX3090s. It's going to one-shot T69s if it does penetrate. So, Doctor's got a lot of pressure right now, more than he would do from a tier 6. Tier 6 is like, okay, so if it hits shells, it's going to be great.
Yep.
If it doesn't,
the end of the world.
The rest of our teammates can still win this. But when you're picking up as a tier 8, you're sacrificing a T69 or an MX3090, and you've got to perform.
Well, certainly some big decisions coming in. Let's see how the Doctor performs under pressure. I hope this goes well. This guy's impressed us so far. This is a very deciding point, though, because as you said, this is not just him doing well in a tank that may do okay. This is his team taking the sacrifice to allow him to have the spotlight. Let's see how it goes. It looks like the teams are in, and let's keep our eyes on Doctor throughout this one. See where he positions early on. And just to break it down for you, DTQ will be on attack this time in the south, and in the north in Ready Kazna trying to lock this one out, and I cannot wait to see this.
Yeah, it's an initial start from Kazna Crew over towards the left side, and 44 going to be taking up its position. And the rest of the team kind of building up a defensive line next to it. And DTQ, in a strange start, a bit like TCM actually. I mean, Lorraine sitting up behind when they were playing attack. They're the only other team that, apart from Kazna now, who's played artillery, is on the attacking side. The T62, T69, the T32 heading up towards the middle, MX3090 and the 416 in the background. And for me, this looks like what DTQ wants to do is kind of go for those standoff shells, send probably the T37 in the long line, the 2-line, the forest row, whatever you like to call it, and then use the 416 M63 gun to hit those shells and artillery and support as well, and do a lot of damage to Kazna and allow the rest of the team in once they've done it.
And someone's actually kindly told us how to pronounce the name, so thank you very much, Daniel. I think it's Dr. La Poche Tattoo. I'm not going to say, I'm going to call him Doctor for now. Don't try and correct me, Melly. I'm going what I said, all right?
It's Hungarian, so Melly wouldn't really be able to do it either. She'll have a go.
We'll see. I am sorry if I butchered it. It's closer than what I'm sure our previous attempts were, however, so I will try and get it right. No.
That was my previous attempt. So.
That potato. And that's the man himself. So 2 shots so far, no hits actually, but it's still fairly early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's still just going for those blind shots. No biggie right now. First spots are coming out. He was on reload, so he couldn't really hit anything. But you've got to remember, Deep Tranquility are on the attacking side, so they're the one who has to bring the pain to Kazna crew. And they're kind of splitting things up quite interestingly. They got 2 tier 8 tanks over towards the right, so a tier 6 and a tier 8 tank over towards the right side. They look like they might be wanting to go for the cap, as Nicholas Black receives a big shell there. I believe that was from Toya.
Yep.
And, well, that's not really the greatest start for DTQ.
No, that M44 certainly pulling its weight at the moment, more than maybe Doctor on the other side. So we'll have to see what he can bring. Have to see if he can get his way into this. As you said, a lot of blind shots to begin with. However, those T32s are being spotted, but Mr. Chef there getting in a little bit of trouble. Back up and running high, but taking a big chunk. I can imagine that probably was from that Lorraine. So we'll have to keep our eyes on it in the background, see if it is coming through, and it indeed was. So already, I think, overtaking the damage of the M44, but we still need its worth to come through. Actually, no, tell a lie, 2 shots hit now.
Yeah, double the damage of that Lorraine so far, but it's still the battle of the artillery players right now. We can see the T37, the 251 starting to mobilize over towards the right side. They will have to deal with, I believe, Pilauder in the Pershing. Interesting to see him actually in his tier 8. He's usually playing those tier 6s, so he's going to be the one 100% in charge right now. Serious threat, Minkishan having to get back, but Pilauder's going to make the blind shots. So Lorraine will hopefully be aiming at Pilauder and might be able to do some damage here, but I think the play for Deep Tranquility will be that eastern cap. As you can see, the T69, the T32s are joining into where 505 is heading towards, and really the rest of the team also heading that way.
Yeah, certainly give you something to keep your eyes on. And this mobilization from both sides, we'll have to see how it comes through. The T69 slowly making their way down south. The Lorraine may be under some pressure soon enough, but for now still has some fair free reign to make these shells. Maybe not to the extent they'd so far wished for, but it's no big loss. You can see the HP bars at the very top of the screen, just under the team names. It's still fairly close. Bearing in mind, DTQ are on the attack though, and the Lorraine has to readjust here, as it looks like Kazna want to start pushing the point.
Yeah, the battle lines are being drawn, and this is classic Prokhorovka, and Nicholas Black probably won't be able to get away with it on. You can see the heat shells struggling to penetrate the side, but they eventually do. Big blow for DTQ. They wanted to try and get him over, but the game's not out yet. 3 tanks in the cap, 2 are going to go for Pilauder, and let's see if Kazna crew has time to get back.
It's going to be a massive question here. The 251s starting to get themselves going. 1 to the south, 1 towards the center. T69s, and bearing in mind that M44 can make shells. Let's see if they do it. Mr. Chef, 2 more to make. Hyber, having none of it. He knows how to play that tank just as well. Ruster, though, comes across, gets it. Mr. Chef maybe overstaying his welcome at that angle. Going to have to readjust. And he doesn't have reload just yet. Doctor is in trouble, though. He's taking a lot of damage. Finally getting into the game, but goes down. Certainly not worth the sacrifice in this one. However, Mr. Chef looking for reload now, waiting for it to come up. He does finally get it, and just waiting for a shot, I believe. Now Ruster does go down, nicely done, and it's still fairly close, but here comes the cavalry. German Bray and Hyber crest over that ridge, and not many left for DTQ.
Yeah, 3 versus 6 right now. They've done a lot of damage to Kazna crew, but not quite enough. Kazna crew, Malza next on the board, but 505 doing a good job to keep Kazna back. But Hyber in that T32 looks dangerous.
Certainly does. Mal's gonna surely go down here, down to nothing, 8 HP, but actually Jump and Break falls first. Kind of surprised, but there we go. Mal's is now being hunted down in the end. He's got targets left, right, and center, and Hyber will be the one to come through, and Kazna pick up a strong win in round number 3.
Very Virtus Pro-esque, definitely from Kazna.
Pushing across.
Pushing across the middle.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Once they get to that kind of train line, that's when the game is pretty much over, because they can just crest, they can spot the tanks in the cap, and they can stop it whenever they want. But, you know, the thing was, DTQ, if they had more tanks along that train line, they could have done more damage as Kazna crew came towards them. And if they had dealt with Pilauda earlier on, I think they could have also done more. And Doctor became more of a hindrance in that situation when it kind of came to close quarters. But just all around good play from Kazna crew. Every single player pulled his weight in terms of damage, very close on the board there. So just good play by Kazna. I don't think they really had to do much. They just had the right tanks in the right place, and they saw that they needed to push forwards soon enough.
Yeah, and Kazna always be able to read that situation well. And it's good to see them kind of looking a little like Virtus Pro in that. It's very rare we saw teams having the confidence to push right across the map. And it was a reason that only really Virtus Pro had ever pulled it off, you know, perfectly. It takes a lot of confidence. You've got to have a lot of control in the map. You've got to be able to crest that 6 line, you know, over the railroad, and be able to actually challenge. And when you get all those boxes kind of, you know, checked and everything in the right place, it's a phenomenal tactic. But it's certainly a brave one. We'll have to wait and see if maybe Kazna feel like bringing it up again. They do have another shot at it, but will we see the Lorraine featured again, or was that just not quite enough?
Well, I think if it had more opportunity in that game, I think it could have done more damage, but the Kazna guys basically said, okay, we have to delete that from the equation as quickly as possible, because it's going to nail us when it heads over the hill. But, you know, another big blow for DTQ is the fact that they lost Nicholas Black once again in the T32 as he was trying to get over. That's again thanks down to Kazna crew pushing forwards across those ridges soon enough that they could get the shots on, they could get the spots out. But same lineup from Kazna crew here, a mixture of T32s, 251s, T69s. And the M44 once again played by Dr. Tue. Dr. Lapatos has gone back to the AMX-13 F3. So
it worked nicely.
It worked nicely. It did a good amount of damage, and you didn't sacrifice too much for it. So they've also removed the 416 quite interestingly, because they did the most damage in the previous round. But I think the whole tactic is now going to be different from DTQ, so they'll also have to change their lineup for it.
But bearing in mind, let's say the last round was a little bit of leeway for DTQ to play around a little bit. They could try out the Lorraine rather than just going for the normal, you know, M44s or anything along those lines. However, they now need to not mess around. They now need to play to not maybe the most standard tactic, but at least a smart one. Because let's be serious here, if it gets to a 3-1, you feel as though Kazna is pretty much on the verge by that point.
Yeah, and I think DTQ will have to know that. It's been back and forwards. We saw in Ruenberg, you know, the attacker won, the defender won, and it just went back and forwards. And I think DTQ knows that, and they will be able to pick up a win here. But the pressure definitely is on them, as you said. If it was 3-1, it could be a whole new story for them. And you know, DTQ after that win against School Bus, they know the pressure is on. They know they have to perform, and they want to continue that momentum so their team stays confident. And as I said before, maybe getting a top 6 spot here. But we are ready to go in game. Again, you know, Kazna crew will be defending, and DTQ will be on the attack.
Let's see what goes down this time around. Doctor switching up a little there for DTQ. And I like it. A willingness to change is always a good thing. And they actually tried out something, which is good. They got the round up, so they had room to breathe. They may have lost, obviously, round number 3, but it's still good to try these things out. Give it a test while you have that slight breathing room and hope to bring it back to a 2-2 rather than going in at a 3-1 to that second map. So far, similar start from Kazna, however, quite different from DTQ.
DTQ are definitely going to go for some sort of all-in. I guess they're thinking, okay, so Pilauda was on his own, and if Kazna do the same thing twice, which I have to say Kazna are quite famous for doing, that they don't really change their tactics so much, and they often get caught out for it. But they are very, very quick on the uptake. They know once they haven't spotted a tank in X position, they must be in Y. and they're adapting to it perfectly. 251 going south, the hull down tanks getting themselves hull down.
Literally a minute into game, and they've already got a 251, as you said, right in the south. They know exactly where they're at, and that's just one of Kazna's strengths, surely.
It's their biggest strength, definitely. As I said before, it's so much logic in this team, which is great to see. But now they're in position, they're going to have to do something with it. Doctor is also not in the best position in the world. He's in, the best position for him staying alive, but also makes it a little bit more awkward for him when he wants to try and make the shots. But Hyber will be his first target, as Nicholas Black was for Dr. Ture. Both missing, actually, and Hyber will be able to stay alive. But he's, again, in an awkward position, and he's playing the T32, that T15, it'll bounce a lot. Only 244 penetration, so it'll struggle against its opposite number.
So what do you think of DTQ's play so far? Obviously, we mentioned how quickly Kazna read into it. Do we like it at the moment?
Well, we'll have to see how they execute. I think it's okay. Yeah. You can see Ruster immediately getting away from Elian. Hyber does finally receive a shell from Dr. Lapetus there. And 505 and the other AMX 1390s are kind of together, and they wanted to maybe crest that hill over and maybe do some damage. High unit also in support. 505 does hit that first shell, catching Kazna crew a little bit with their pants down. And DTQ, what they're doing right now is asserting their dominance over towards that east side. But they still have to deal with those T32s. They still have to deal with the T69s, which can crest whenever they want. And that's really what Dr. Lapetus in the AMX 13 will be all about, making those shells, and Vetso knows it.
Vetso's certainly trying to hunt him down. I think he's caught a glimpse, and this could be disastrous for Doctor. Oh, just about missing by a centimetre, or just about finding cover, should I say, for Doctor than Vetso missing. But now Vetso does take one back. Doctor going to be maybe looking for a shot here, or on Paluda, both being spotted at least in the last couple of seconds. And Vetso, knowing that fact, going to find a little bit of cover here as Mr. Chef will retreat. Yeah,
Vetso, a couple of seconds before, and he would have been able to take down Doctor there, but doesn't. Yeah. And Doctor now has the best position he could possibly hope for on this map. And, the pain has certainly been found by Vetso. He's down to about 60% HP, and now Doctor can rain down hell onto Hyber in that T32. So Hyber's going to be scared. Cap's underway from DTQ as well. And the pressure is now onto Kazna crew, so Kazna has to make the next move. And if they do the same thing they did last time, it will just be to push over the middle area. But I think they're going to come over the north because they know the presence is strong from DTQ towards the middle.
Let's find out if Kazna actually want to do that. There's a few options here, and they generally do read these plays quite well. So I'm always excited to see how they intend to break the DTQ side. However, Paluda a little cautious to breach then, and right to be so. There is an AMX 1390 up in the northeast side, just waiting for it. And DTQ, if they don't expect the pushover, I'd be very surprised. They look as though they are waiting for it. And Hanyi is the one with his turret turned to that direction. However, 59 seconds left. There's still a long time on that cap.
And Serious Threat just spotted all of the Kazna guys up in the north, so I think now Serious Threat at least. So bad news for them. The Pershing has got great view range, and he has found them, so the jig is up for Kazna crew, but they're still going to have to go for this at some point. 21 seconds left on the clock, and you can see the pressure from TTQ to stop Hyber going forwards, to stop Vetso also flanking.
And I absolutely love the way that DTQ has been able to maintain their HP in this one. Still sitting fairly comfortably. They will have to now breach and clear with 7 seconds on the cap. They're going to have to make a move. This is absolutely insane. 4 seconds left, and finally a reset comes in from Superstar Elian up in the north. But how much will he sacrifice for this? Or will it be worth it? Yes, it is. Mr. Chef goes down. And already we are seeing Kazna just about keeping control of this.
Yes, and DTQ are doing the right thing, pushing over, but the execution is lacking, and Kazna are doing so much damage as they have reacted perfectly. Malzert will fall.
How is Hyber even still alive? And Serious Threat going in without reload. Nicholas Black goes down, and this is a absolute cacophony of errors coming out from DTQ, possibly giving up the game. 505 now on the run, but there's nowhere to run and hide this time. He has to take down the opponents. Kazna on the defense. He goes on the flank, trying to find Hyber. And I don't know if he's even going to get him. Misses the shot there. Now Serious Threat is in serious trouble. And with only 2 remaining, DTQ look as though they just messed up that final push.
Yeah, it looks like it's game over. Doctor and Hyuni alive in, I tell a lie. Doctor does fall, leaving only Hyuni. He's in a good position, but he is spotted, so it will be game over, I do believe. Doctor just missing that last shell, and, he's got a lot of work. He's also on reload. 6 tanks to find from Kazna crew. As you know, DTQ are on the attack, so they have to make the plays.
I feel as though it may not work too well right now, and I think he may know that. Just going for a swim to kind of cool off.
Thinks he's a submarine.
Well, we all get
Yeah,
confused
submarine.
sometimes. Anyway, final shot comes in. Kazna picking it up, and it will be that rather intimidating scoreline of a 3-1 again.
Yeah, that's not good stuff for DTQ.
Ooh.
I thought, you know, it's again that thing where if you do go for that cap, you do sacrifice a lot. And we all applaud the teams when they manage to get a cap.
Yep.
But when, you know, a reset comes in at the last second from Elian, stopping your cap, bring it up to 27 seconds again, it's like, oh, you know, you just get obliterated. I thought DTQ did the right thing by pushing over the middle, but Hyber, you know, his presence was absolutely phenomenal. And the thing is, Palauda and Elian, they did the right thing of staying on this ridge, getting the resets, but not committing over the hill so they could support the rest of their team as DTQ pushed onto them.
And it's just Kazna playing it well again. And as you said, this commitment was a real problem. Mal's, Nicholas Black, Serious Threat, all having problems really nailing these shots. Serious Threat maybe extending a little too far. They're taking needless damage to a degree. And in the end, just wasn't enough to do the job required. And it just left them with so little HP to do anything with for DTQ. But in the end, we kind of expect Kazna to do well to a degree. But however, we need to kind of take into account this is now a 3-1 scoreline. 2 away from winning for Kazna. You've got to feel it's in the bag for them.
Yeah, you have, but we're on to Ruinberg next, where DTQ is going to be defending.
Okay.
And I've been pretty impressed with DTQ on this map. They managed to pick up their last win on Ruinberg, but they did lose a couple of times versus TCM, but that was the deep tranquility of old. But, you know, Kazna crew has a better all-around record on this one. 3 out of 4 wins won by them. Only loss was really on defensive side, so... I think Kazna is going to be a strong attacking team, which could possibly bring the scoreline up to 5-1.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there will be a short break while these players adjust. But we need to find out how you guys have been doing out there in the world of Twitch chat, Facebook, Twitter, all of that good stuff. And of course, there is the beautiful Melly to take us through how they are actually getting on out there.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Nice person deep down.
Exactly.
It's not really like that with Alex, strangely enough. But
Alex deserves everything he gets.
I agree.
There you go.
Forgive me the plague.
Yes, the vote. 83% for Kazna crew. So people, you still have time, head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and hand in your votes. Also predict the scoreline, the exact scoreline for this matchup in the text field below. Then press the button and send off your vote and hope that you will get rewarded as one of the 5 persons that actually won a bonus code containing 500 gold. And as you already do so, get involved on Twitter using the hashtag WGLEU and tell us everything what's on your mind. If we pronounce names wrong and you write us the right pronunciation, thank you very much for that, of course. And if you want to send us fan art, you're very welcome to. And just keep us in good mood, I guess. So while you're following Twitter and Facebook and of course YouTube and our Twitch channel, you will have a 5 minutes break until we start with the next map. And yes, time to freshen up a bit, and I'll see you back in 5 minutes.
Welcome back to the WGL EU. We are into match week 7. We are just about over the halfway point, I'd say, in today's games, at least between Kazna and DTQ. We are sat at a 3-1 scoreline in favour to Kazna Crew. The favourites probably in this one by quite the country mile. However, DTQ can pull the results out of the bag. A risky pickup of the Lorraine artillery in round number 3 may have cost them a little bit there. However, they took the risk after picking up one of the rounds. It kind of paid off, but we will be seeing Ruenberg next. What are your thoughts?
Sure. So we're going to be seeing Ruenberg where Kazna Crew is going to be defending first. Deep Tranquility are going to be on the defense, so obviously up north, and Kazna down south. For me, I think Kazna might just take this one now. Although
clean or
I want to see what happens. I want to see what Deep Tranquility does. Do they go for that clever plays? Do they go for the capping move, or do they just do what Virtus.pro did in the previous round, which is just go aggressive in towards the Eastern Village, go for those brawls, go for those engagements? But I just don't think they're going to win in those kind of situational, coordinational awareness firefights where Kazna probably has the edge.
Yeah, and look at the lineups here. We are seeing artillery coming in for DTQ.
Oh, God damn it.
We literally... Why are you proving us
God
wrong?
Damn it.
But still, we'll have to wait and see how this comes through.
This is
DTQ will be on the defense in the northeast, and in the southwest, it'll be Kazna on the attack. And I'm not sure about this RT being in play. We're going to have to wait and see. It's in the capable hands of Doctor. But at the moment, what are we seeing so far?
He just smacked German Brait in the side for no damage.
Jesus.
Well, it's worked out well, but if you know, that's the thing about artillery. You can get quite unlucky. There's a lot more variables than just a straight line shot. So far, it's going well for Kazna Crew. They have the Eastern Village. Very interesting play all around from Deep Tranquility. We don't see really any teams put pressure on towards the left side. Hyber's in the middle, kind of on his own. He does have German Brait and Elian coming to support, though. But still, I think this is going quite well for Deep Tranquility. As you can see, Elian receives the first flurry of shells. Yeah,
and a big hit as well. 400 damage coming through. Vetso takes over 700. This is a big bit of damage for Nicholas Black. First to fall again. And that is a huge loss. Mr. Chef as well is in trouble. And the RT is out of the game. It's went from a good start to a very bad ending, it looks like.
Once again, Kazna Crew predicting perfectly where Deep Tranquility is, knowing that those AMX 3090s aren't in the fight, knowing that really they can't put out much resistance if they have tanks in the middle in the Eastern Village. So just kind of finding all the weaknesses. I thought good initial damage by Deep Tranquility would be able to take enough of Kazna Crew's HP away that it doesn't really matter if they took down the artillery in the end, but the artillery missed that shell. And it kind of put Kazna Crew at a massive advantage right now. 3, though, remain with almost 100% HP, indeed 100% HP, but still 7 remain for Kazna.
Yeah. HP is not, a million miles away, and Hyber's taking a beating here. The IS-3 not quite in that optimal positioning to bounce those shells, and Mal's just pretty much mauled him to death there. So, 1 tank down. Hyber's on a lot of HP. That's kind of evened it up a little. However, this is the problem. There's only so much they can do. 505 takes 3 shells now, back to back. Elian moving in further. Still has 4 more to make. Confident play from Elian going around. 1.7k damage done. Looking to make more. And he does it on the move. Elian just giving us a beautiful display of tanks right now. And Hanyi getting caught on the way out. Every shell causing damage then. 2k here for Elian. That is perfect. Solid
all-round play from him as well. But at the end of the day, that AMX 5100 should have done more work there. Should have taken down Vetso. Malza will go for the round. Cobrion, of course, will come away with the victor in that situation. Hayuni, the last wine to fall for Deep Tranquility. 4-1 right now for Kazna Crew, and match point for them as well.
That's a big score as well. That's taken them to that match point, as you said, and that looked so easy for them. It looks like a bunch of tier 1s against a load of 5100s.
Elian at 2.5.
That was such a beautiful play, and he was so confident in it as well. He was chasing down 3 tanks basically. He caught out 1, followed onto the other. Every single shell he had, he made and did damage, and that was just sublime to watch. That's why he is such a good player. And on the other side, no one did badly, but it just felt like half of them didn't get in the game then.
Yeah, you could see that Deep Tranquility obviously loves the artillery and is thinking, okay, so we're doing well with the artillery. Let's just continue using it. Maybe it could work on Ruenberg, but it did 0 damage there. But I'm not even sure that was the problem. Maybe the tactic as a whole, trying to play to the artillery strengths was the problem here. Vetso should have gone down to 505, but he only tracks him. So Elian comes in, uses that skill, takes him down, no problem at all. And then
didn't even stop.
Manages to hit 2 on Hayuni and even tracks him as he does crest that corner.
Just beautifully done. And I love the way he didn't even stop for that first kill. He knew he was going to get it. He was 100% sure of it. He knew himself he was going to land those shots on the move and then move on to Hunyi. Just absolutely perfect to watch. That guy is an absolute beast, and there's a reason he's pretty much at the top of the Hall of Fame. You know, week in, week out, this guy performs. He's consistent as hell, and you look at that lineup, there's so much potential for others to be able to do it, but Elian just picks it up and runs with it every single time. So 4-1 being the scoreline, it looks like we might have a repeat of the first game. So final round coming in. I pray to God Artillery's not there. I feel as though they might stick with it because they seem to love it. But then again, as you said, that may not have been the issue. It may just be the whole tactic was a little bit outdone. If you could pinpoint one problem, one thing to fix going into the final round possibly, what do you think DTQ really needs to do here?
They need to go for as awkward a lineup as possible. So a lot of heavy tanks, 5100s, 110s if necessary, I3s if necessary, and just go for that overmatch in terms of damage and firepower. And hit points most importantly. So Kazna crew, doesn't matter if they go for a great push, they will get out damaged, they will get out hit pointed in the city, and they won't have much of an answer here. But I don't think that's what Deep Tranquility wants to do right now. They're going for 2 5100s, 2 MX-3090s, 269s, and once again, Doctor in that M44, whilst Kazna have gone for the heavy lineup once again. 2 5100s, an IS-3, an MX-3090, and 2 251s, I believe. And Pilauda, no, I guess Kobler and Pilauda can play the 2 M41s and German Bray in that 251. But yeah, you know, if I had to pick out one big error, I would say, of course, you know, heavy tanks. But in terms of the playing error DTQ made, I think what they tried to do basically is catch Kazna in the middle so the artillery can make the shots on behind. That's why they had tanks on the crest and they had tanks in towards the eastern village and the AMX-3090s to flank around once Kazna went for the push. But the thing is, those AMX-3090s were too late to the party. Kazna crew could go hull down, and the artillery, as it is, a little bit unreliable, didn't hit that shell. So it just didn't work out for them, and that's why I think they have to change things up.
Hopefully they have the ability to do so and the flexibility really of a team to be able to manage it, because it's quite easy, let's say, for an up-and-coming team. I don't know if I want to put DTQ quite in that up-and-coming box yet, but they've shown potential to have one good strategy or one strategy they like, but then when they have to adapt and change it quite quickly, you see the difference between quite the more experienced teams who have that secondary plan, like, oh, okay, well, this didn't work, let's fall back to this. Let's fall back to the, you know, the very plain Jane strategy coming out. But I don't know if DTQ have that in them. They're still running the RT, it looks for now. I'm not sure if they're completely locking it in, but so far it looks like they still want the RT in play, which, you know, I kind of want them to go back to basics in a way, but then again, they only started winning once they started playing out of the box as well against School Bus. So I don't know where you have to pull and draw that line. You guys at home, let us know your thoughts. Hashtag WGLEU. You know, where do you draw that line? Do you keep sticking with the RT? We've questioned it before where teams have stuck with, you know, Arclit, for example, a phenomenal player in a phenomenal team, maybe outstaying his welcome in a tank like an artillery in place of picking something else up. Is this another prime example? Let us know your thoughts. Hashtag WGLEU. And I think the teams are getting themselves ready now to get into game. It looks like this could be the deciding round here. We'll be coming in with Kazna crew on match point, 4 rounds beside them. And sadly, DTQ merely has 1, so they have to pull this one out and really go for it, to say the very least. They need a clean run all the way through here. Certainly going to be a tough task against Kazna, who feel as though they're just in a different league to other people sometimes.
And they're improving. Kazna crew at the beginning of the season, I don't think they played that well, but now they are starting to get themselves into the season quite nicely. But still, the work has to be done. Yes, they have 4 rounds in the bag and, you know, at least 1 point also guaranteed for them. But still, Deep Tranquility is in this game, and they could potentially win this one. And the attacking side is not an easy one at all. Pushing through the middle, German Break, Pilauda, and Kobler in the 251 and the 2 M41 Bulldogs. The rest of the tanks from Kazna crew down south, whilst Deep Tranquility looked like they've gone back to basics. 2 I3 is going to go hull down, although actually they might just be doing the same thing twice as they do start to really head towards that crescent moon circle.
I'm worried now. I do always worry when it comes to these points. And Hunyi going quite aggressive, pushing out over the F-line road, almost breaking over the halfway marker of this map. He does have backup though, and Koblerone taking a big hit early on, down to just over half HP, and I think that might have been 505, but the RT did come in to follow. Now Koblerone does get tracked, held. 505 not getting the damage he wants, and if he peeks out too far, he will receive more. And for 5100, he's taken so much damage early on.
I don't know why he went for Palauda then, for Koblerone even. That was unnecessary. He's almost gone down. Ruster might even be able to finish the job. Doesn't, finds Huayuni instead, which is just as good. Kazna crew are just going to surge forwards into the city. They're going to use the AMX 5100 to take down Huayuni. They're going to move on to the rest. This looks like it's going Kazna's way right now.
Certainly does. HP is rather indicative, and now kills to follow. Already Hunyi going down. Koblerone did go low, as did Paluda, but you could see how much DTQ just wanted to get those kills in the bag. They almost overcommitted to get them and took so much damage off the back of it. 505 is now down to 66 HP. He's near on mute in this game here. He's going to try and get some work done, but Ruster comes in, does the drive-by hit, and gets out of there. The mini Elian comes into the play, and now Vetso and Cohen look at that again. Ruster just knowing where to be at the right time. And now 4 players left, include a Doctor into that. It's not looking good.
No, and you know, most importantly, Kazna crew has the Eastern Village. They have the higher ground. They have the cover. They have everything. Doctor looks like is the next target for them as they try and go on the hunt. But Haiba still in that IS3 somehow manages to survive against 2 of his opposite number. Doctor will fall. Rasta though on reload. Doesn't find him though, and that will seal his fate there. 2 IS3s remain for Deep Tranquility.
Yeah, Nicholas Black and Miles. Oh, it's even a T69.
Yeah,
less
T69.
health, so goes down even quicker at this rate as Hyber just unloading shells into Koblerone from the backside as well. And sadly for DTQ, it's a painful way to go out now. It's a matter of time for Nicholas Black to be hunted down. Good damage this time, did stay alive. He's a member of the team that will be picked up early, but Koblerone is doing the best he can, and he's now on reload as Nicholas Black comes in for the ram, and it's a bit of an awkward battle to say the least, but the big boys are on the way, and it will seal the deal as Nicholas Black does take him down, but now the rest are merely around the corner, and he knows his fate and does go, and Kazna will pick up the victory 5-1 and show DTQ just what they're made of.
Yeah, great stuff from Kazna crew. Solid play all around. The highest damage dealer. Haiba 2000, surprisingly, he obviously wasn't making the plays, but what he was doing was staying alive for such an extraordinary amount of time, and you know, highlighting perhaps that those 2 IS3 should have gone around and finished this. But this was the last play basically. Ruster comes in, finishes off 505. Serious threat dies very quickly, and this is highlighting the problem with the Deep Tranquility tactic. Those IS3s are great in the city, but they're not. They're on their own, kind of in the open. They couldn't help their teammates, and Kazna could just storm in once they'd done enough initial damage and take them down. We
saw it again there. Kazna showing dominance, and DTQ maybe improving, but not quite enough for Kazna there. Kazna looked very solid, to be completely honest with you. And I think that's the fine line between a team who's played during that little bit of a break and a team who hasn't. So School Bus, who didn't play so much, felt the brunt of it, and Kazna, who did, who kept, you know, toiling away at it, picking up new players, trying new things out, trying to add more elements to that lineup. And that little bit of refreshment may have just kicked them back into gear, and it looks like it's done the job. DTQ, however, will be staying towards the bottom of the table at a rate like this, and Kazna now going to start building up a good solid win there, full 3 points. Let's see what that really does mean for them, just checking out on the rankings right about now. I think considering where they're at, they probably did need it. They're sitting down in 7th. Picking this up will put them around 4th to 6th, depending on the other results from today. And you know, going forward, they need that. Every 3-point win is absolutely vital to these boys right now, unless you're sitting in the top 2. And even then, you're still catchable. Every game counts in this. Yeah,
I mean, as I said, Kazna didn't have a great start to the season. They lost 3-5 against School Bus. They did manage to pick up a win against WHD Gaming, but again, 5-1 to GG Well Played.
Yep.
They did take it against Utopia and then against TCM. It's really been since that Utopia match, since they've starting to get into the season finally. Another win against now Deep Tranquility, and you said, you know, 4th to 6th position is, you know, where they want to be heading. And to be honest, I think they've got the hard part of the season done. They will have to fight Virtus Pro on the 15th, of course, but I think they are starting to secure a top spot here.
The funny thing is the next game will decide where they're going to be placed as well, because it's going to be WSD up against School Bus, who are both tied on 12 points in 3rd and 4th.
Yep.
So with Kazna picking up this win, that'll get them onto the 12, and they'll see who they're tied with and who's just ahead of them now. So big win there for Kazna, getting them up in this sort of position, up in those sort of top 4s. It's absolutely vital for them to get towards that point. So nicely done for those guys there. So nicely done overall. However, as we said, next game coming up will be School Bus against WST Gaming. A lot on the line there. But that aside, Melly, how do the people feel about this game going on? Did they get the votes right? I guess they did.
Pretty secure, actually. 84% for Kazna crew. That's how I stopped the vote. And if I look on the exact predictions, yes, pretty much yes. So it was a clear one, and congratulations to you guys. I will pick 5 winners that are rewarded with 500 gold. Well, congratulations, of course. And another way of winning bonus codes is simply heading over to Twitter and tweeting us. Use the hashtag WGLEU to get maybe rewarded as one of the 5 tweets of the day, and also getting bonus codes which contain 500 gold. And of course, send us fan art. And I already saw some nice stuff over there. I will check it out in the break. And you should, well, to everyone that just joined for the headliner match, well, you missed out big time. And, well, you can rewatch the VODs tomorrow on youtube.com/WGLEU. And, of course, make sure to follow all those channels to make sure that you get updated and notified as soon as we upload new video content, as soon as we go live, or have some interesting articles and interviews on our EUWGleague.net page. And yes, before we're heading into the break, as said, thank you very much for your participation. The next vote will be online pretty much now, so keep on participating, keep on voting, and see you in 5 minutes.